Okay, Jack. Welcome back to box football, guys. The best player in the world, yeah, for 15 years or so, that was held by Messi and Ronaldo. We knew it was either one of them. In recent times, they're both not in Europe anymore, and it's flashed around. Yeah, I heard notion of Erling Haaland for what he did last year. Um, Mbappe for the last couple years. And in recent times, I've been hearing a lot about Jude Bellingham for his form at Real Madrid. There's one player that, for me, for some weird reason, his name doesn't seem to pop up in that. But when you look at his body of work, he is easily can be considered the best player in the world. And guys, we're going to discuss this today. Vinicius Jr. Yeah, Jack, is Vinicius Jr. the best player in the world? Let's just talk about this here. Let's talk about let me break down the body of work. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
you want La Liga title, Jack? He just got two of them. Yeah,
yeah.
and massive parts of both La Liga titles. You want a Champions League? He got that. You want Champions League moments, Jack? I think he has failed to score or assist in like one of the last 15 knockout stage Champions League games. He has embarrassed some of the best fullbacks that we consider. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Reece James, Carl Walker. He's given them nightmares. Yeah, dominated big Champions League games against whoever. Yet recently against Bayern Munich, dropping two goals in Allianz Arena in big games. And for everything about Jude being the best player in Real Madrid, we I know who the best player in Real Madrid is, and I think a lot of Real Madrid
Right.
fans know who the best player in Real Madrid is. But Jack, why is it that he's not considered the best player in the world? And also in the Ballon d'Or votings, Jack, he's sometimes not even in the top 10 for the body of work he's been able to give. But Jack, go ahead.
Well, so this is just where I'm coming from here, and you'd know a hell of a lot better than me within this conversation. He's always going to be in the conversation, probably throughout the entirety of his career, right?
Hmm.
That in itself is impressive. Now, you don't get a golden football with your name on it, but even being in the conversation tells you what kind of caliber of player you are. What I'll say though, James, Ronaldo and Messi have set a precedent and an expectation for Ballon d'Or winning that I don't know if we'll ever see again. We are getting back to what we had before, which is have you had a good year? Have you had a good year? Not well, he won the Champions League. Well, he won La Liga. Oh, and he got more goals per game. Oh, but he got more assists, right? That's where we're getting into now. Jude Bellingham had a really good streak, right? And I think generally speaking, I think you and I even agreed at one point it was like, man, it's clutch. It's kind of out of position. He's coming up with these big moments in this big team. He's going over there with all this expectation to be the guy. It's kind of fallen away a little bit. I don't know if he's tired. I don't know if he's hurt. There's definitely something else going on. The only other people I would throw in potentially into that situation, and again, it's about being streaky, it's not very sexy, but James Harry Kane's had one hell of a year. In kind of an underperforming Bayern Munich team, Harry Kane's had one hell of a year. Erling Haaland's been kind of in and out. Kevin De Bruyne kind of been in and out. I love Martin Odegaard to bits, but we know for Arsenal it's more of a team effort that we're seeing for them going forward. Any of the guys at Inter really outstanding candidates and players? Probably not. So I'd say generally speaking, we don't have people playing at that Ronaldo and Messi 12-year caliber that we're hitting. The other thing I'll say, and again, you may have a chance to cover this here, right? And I'm sure you will. Vinicius Jr. is certainly in that conversation, but I don't know if kind of solo dolo he's grabbing games by the scruff of the neck and making them his own. He's amazing and he's going to be in that conversation. But again, it's about streakiness. It's about can you get a headline because you and I both know Balon d'Or winner very rarely is the person who's had the best year. Keep in mind, Lionel Messi, I think, won one when half of his year he was playing in the MLS, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, we know that the Ballon d'Or may not be necessarily what it used to be. It's a little bit more of a political award nowadays, right? Go ahead. You're going to tell me how Vinicius Jr. is hitting Ronaldo and Messi levels.
Um, Jack, I think the one player that you forgot to mention is
Yeah,
Kylian Mbappe, who I think
right.
is widely considered. the best player in the world. And Jack, I find it hard to disagree with what Mbappe has done. His body work in the last 5 years has been incredible. And if I'm picking a player to represent the world, it is him. But
Right.
Vinicius Jr. is right up there. And with Real Madrid winning the Champions League this year and him just keeping up the performance that he's keeping up, Jack, I think it's going to have to be him. We can't ignore how great he's been. Jack, you mentioned, oh, the Ronaldo, Messi, how he hasn't been quite, there. I beg to differ. This guy in so many big games this season has come up trump Jack. Jack in the Super Cup game final, scored a hat trick against Barcelona, scored a hat trick in the league game against Barcelona. RB Leipzig, he got the goal to put them through in the second leg. The two goals against Bayern Munich. He got two assists. No, he got three assists against Man City. And I hate to bring up the assist. Yeah. I just want to talk about him. Vinicius Jr. frightens the absolute life out of teams. And he's been asked to do this in a weird position, Jack. He played striker against Bayern Munich. And Jack, he's not a striker at all. Yeah, there's time where Real Madrid are kicking the ball over to him, and it's like he's not comfortable with playing his back towards goal. But he's really in a compromising position, and he's still giving us results.
Yeah.
Massive, massive, massive results. Even Jack, even the year of Benzema, when like Benzema was the Balon d'Or, and we know how great he was there. Vinny Jr. had some incredible. You remember
Insane.
both game against Chelsea. The game against Man City where he let the ball go through his leg, go straight through and scores the winning goal in the Champions League final. But let me have it here, Jack. This is to me where probably the PR doesn't work well for Vinny. Because in that year, Jack, he was easily top five in the Ballon d'Or, and I'm not sure he
Right.
even got 10. He even got in the top 10, and that's criminal
Mm.
for a boy who was
Yeah.
easily top five that year that Benzema won it.
Right.
I have this thing. If Real Madrid have already won the league, but if they go on to win the Champions League and Vinny keeps up his performance, I don't think he wins it. And that's criminal to me because I don't think he has a great, in terms of your marketing,
You think
you
Bellingham
bell
takes it?
you,
You
it,
think the
the whole
pose and
Jack,
all
the
the
whole thing and the whole, oh, I'm
English?
British, I've come in and I've settled
Yeah.
down that where Jack, I'll be honest with you. I think I think especially in the Champions League and league, he's still picked up his performances, but he's been poor in the Champions League knockout stages. Two games against City wasn't quite there. Yeah, the game against Bayern Munich, I wasn't impressed at all. But I think that just because of how crazy that start of the season was and how many clutch moments he was, and he does have the two winners against Barcelona there, he might edge it. And that's the problem I have with the whole thing because I think Vinny has put in so many great performances over the
Yeah.
last couple of years, and he has been overlooked on so many cases. Like Jack, honestly, what more do we
Yeah.
want from him? Vinny
Well,
is going
James,
to get 21 goals this year, and I think he's touching 20. He's going to touch 20 assists.
but I tell you what more we're going to need from him. And I'm not
Okay,
saying this is fair. I'm not saying this is fair. This is incredibly unfair. And actually, James, in terms of recent history, I can't think of a player who's been put in a more challenging position, actually. Kylian Mbappe arrives at your club.
yep.
Endrick arrives at your club. Now, I'm not saying Endrick waltzes his way into the first team and replaces Rodrigo or Vinicius Jr. or Kylian Mbappe. Of course not. But what I am saying is, you think Jude Bellingham's taking the attention away from you? Wait till Kylian Mbappe rocks up and starts taking some attention out of you. Oh, and also, he's not just replacing Bellingham; they're both going to be in the same team. And in the time that those three players are at Real Madrid, James, I'd ask you if you're Vegas, if you're Bet365, William Hill, whatever, what would you set the over under at those three players in the same team having Champions League success in their time there? I'd say those three guys should be looking at least four Champions Leagues in their Real Madrid history in that Champions League competition. Don't you think?
I think
That
two.
think about the age.
You know how hard it is to win a Champions League. I'll say two.
But remember the club and remember James. Are
Okay,
you?
that's
Do you
fair.
think I'm crazy? Do you think I'm crazy if I say Real Madrid have the first, second, and third best player in the world playing in the same team?
We can have a strong argument that yeah,
Right?
they all are.
You know my thoughts on Rodri, blah blah blah, and we've talked the Ballon d'Or debate to death about attacking players and the extra stuff that they get. But Vinicius Jr. not only has to outplay Jude Bellingham and have the success that he has to have, he then has to welcome Kylian Mbappe into town, who plays kind of the same position. We think Mbappe is going to play through the middle. You and I both know he might drift over to the left every now and again, right?
Yeah.
He's going to have to do it again. So the already unfair position he's in, he's going to have to do it again. But you and I both know this. Just because you have a Ballon d'Or does not make you the best in the world over that time. Plenty of players have won it over the years that haven't deserved it. Vinicius Jr. will be in that conversation for the next 8 to 10 years of his career, probably, and that to me is credit enough for him. If I hope he gets over the line one season, but I think it's going to be tricky for him.
Um, Jack, I don't disagree with you there at all. If he thought it was hard, Mbappe is going to make it even harder. But again, we don't want to turn this into. I feel for them, they can't turn it into an individual battle where who is the popular one. I feel like Vinny knows when Mbappe gets there, it's Mbappe. It's just I just you have to gonna have to accept it. Yeah, it's Mbappe. But
This is Real
I
Madrid, though, James,
but
isn't
Jack,
it? It's
I
managing
look at this.
egos.
It's true, but listen, there's so much stuff that I look at here. If he wins another Champions League with Real Madrid and leads them the way he's been leading them right now, can Mbappe come in and say, "I'm the man"?
I think,
And Jack, let me add a bit of sauce to this. Let me add a bit of sauce to this. If Paris Saint-Germain goes through and it's going to be Real Madrid PSG final,
oh my
and
God,
Vinny puts out an absolute masterclass, can Mbappe really do that? Real Madrid fans, I want to hear from you. Yeah,
yeah,
I
let's
I
pass it
I
over.
I want to hear from you, and I want to know
Hmm.
what happens with that dynamic there. Because if Vinny does what he does, Jack, I think that there's no debate who's the best player in the world.
Which
Because
he might, by the way, which he might.
I personally,
It's not like maybe he might.
Jack, right now, I am Mbappe number one, and Vinny's right there. If
Yeah,
Vinny does what he does in these past couple games and takes them to a Champions League, then I gotta put Vinny there. I really, really have to put Vinny there. And then it might be a little bit uncomfortable for killing Mbappe. But guys, I want to know right now because we've been chopping for a bit.
yeah.
Is Vinicius Jr. the best player in the world? Yeah. Comment down below, let us know. And what do you think is gonna happen when Mbappe joins? Is Mbappe gonna be the number one? Or is Vinny going to be number one? With or without Champions League? Let us know where does Jude fits in there. A couple players that we forgot to mention there, and
And
I think
what the
had
hell?
a great season too, Jack. Joao Musiala, he's a player who
Yeah.
I'm loving and definitely can be an option to be the best player in the world. But Jack, guys, let us know who's the best player in the world. Is Vinny the best player in the world? Comment down below. This is Box to Box Football, and me and Jack will see you guys next time.